Hey, this is Ben from Easededge with a quick overview video on the drawing software. So the idea behind creating drawings in Easededge is to sketch out the shape close to the dimensions that you need and then go back and fine-tune the dimensions afterwards. So for this first example, we'll create a L-shaped countertop of 60 by 65.5. So in order to draw, simply click and move your mouse to the next corner. You don't have to click and drag, you can just click and then move your mouse to the next point. So we'll do roughly 60 by 65.5. We'll do 25-inch countertops. So once we have our shape roughed out, we'll edit the dimensions by clicking on an edge and entering the dimensions that we know. So 25 by 25, this is 60. And then this piece here on the bottom, or this edge here on the bottom, is going to be 65.5. So we can either enter that as 65.5, or we can enter fractions as well by entering 65, a space, and then the fraction, so 1/2, and hitting enter. And there's our completed shape, or our piece, with the square footage listed at the top, as well as the name. In order to rename, simply select the piece by clicking on it, or you can select the piece over on this right panel by clicking on the name. So let's call this piece countertop. Click save. So let's create a second piece. For this one, we'll do a 60 by 60 L-shaped again, but with an inside corner angle. So we'll zoom out. In order to zoom, simply scroll, or you can use this scroll slider on the bottom, and we'll move this piece over. In order to move individual pieces, just click and drag, or you can move all the pieces or move the whole canvas over by clicking on an empty spot and dragging. So we'll follow the same principle here and just rough out our shape. And go back and edit the dimensions. So 25, 25, 60, 60, and let's say we know this length here to be 16 inches, so we'll click on it, enter 16, and we know it's a 45-degree angle, so we'll just select the angle right here as 45. And there's our completed piece. So lastly, we'll create a U-shaped countertop of, let's say, 80 by 108. And go back and edit our dimensions of 25, 25, this is 80, and this is also 80. And we'll make this 108. So lastly, we need to calculate this, this dimension. Let's say we don't know what it is. So in order to do that, we can use the built-in calculator to the length input here and select the edge. And we know that the length of this is going to be 80 minus 25. So we can enter 80 minus 25 and hit enter, and that'll calculate our length of this side, which is 55 inches. One more thing that you're able to do is drag these corner points. So say, for example, you drew the piece off a little bit, like so. Before you entered the dimensions, you'd want to drag this edge down to square it up. You could also adjust the angle to 0 degrees if you wanted by clicking the 0 mark on this angle selector like so. We've got our list of pieces over here on the right with the square footage of each piece listed underneath, as well as the total square footage here on the bottom. The last button here on this screen is this little bullseye button on the bottom, and that's just to recenter the canvas. Say, for example, you get lost and you zoom out or do something where you don't have any of the pieces. You can click the bullseye button on the bottom right, and that will bring everything back onto the canvas.